guys, and welcome back to the channel. I am Zmore the Dad in DPS, and today we've got a video that I'm essentially redoing on the request of one of our viewers. Now, a while back I did a video on my Tesla rifle farming build and why and when and how I used the build in general. So yeah, we're pretty much re-going over it because of the new update and me changing the build significantly from what it originally was due to, well, being able to move my special points around and thus dramatically change the way the build would work in terms of DPS and just general usage. If you don't know already, I absolutely love Tesla rifles. Anywho, before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment and subscribe if you enjoy my content and you want to see more from me in the future. So let's get on with it. Alrighty, down to the build now. So on this character we have 8 strength, 15 perception, 1 endurance, 6 charisma, 12 intelligence, 10 agility and 14 luck. Now we've got strength up at 8 so we can have blocker, bandolier and strong back, mainly for carry weight and for, well, especially bandolier for carry weight, and then blocker to reduce the damage incoming from melee enemies. We will be facing a lot of ghouls on this build in general, so it is kind of integral to the build. Then you've got, in perception, you've got all the commando traits, all at max, just for that extra total of 60% extra damage. I know it's additive, so it technically isn't 60% extra damage, but you get what I mean. And then you have the 36 armor penetration and 9 chance to stagger from tank killer. Then we have grenadier. I probably should replace the rank 1 of Green Thumb with rank 2 of Grenadier. There is a prevailing theory that this increases the arc range of the Tesla rifle. I can't remember if it's true or not, but the myth at least is enough to keep it on my build. And you've got concentrated fire, just in case I decide to use VATs. So my weapons do have good crits, especially with the Tesla rifles critting multiple enemies and all that kind of crap. In the endurance tree we have Radical, just because it gives me that extra 5 strength, which again increases my carry weight, always a good idea. Then in this tree we have Strange in Numbers to increase my mutations effectiveness, Magnetic Personality for charisma, and Inspirational for the extra XP. Now this can be swapped out for the Tenderizer perk, but yeah, it just depends on what I'm doing at the time. Then we'll move back onto the intelligence tree. We've got Nerd Rage for the extra damage, the extra resist and health and AP regen, Gunsmith to keep my weapons in top shape. I can't speak today. Top tip. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk on from that. Scrapper, because I'm scrapping a lot of weapons and stuff when using this build. We've got batteries included so that I can again walk around. Now obviously, depending on the weapon I'm using, I can swap out Gunsmith for Demolition Expert. It's not really that important though. Adrenaline for the extra 60% damage. Obviously, I'm killing a lot of enemies, so it's good in that sense. This one's on here because of Concentrated Fire. Gunfu, Concentrated Fire work really well in tandem. Then you've got Escape Artist so that I can duck down and potentially avoid being destroyed by a large group of enemies if I can get away from them. And then Action Girl so I have more AP in general, regeneration, all that kind of thing. Now, in the last tree, we have Serendipity, Ricochet for the damage mitigation, Critical Savvy, again, in case I use VATs, and then you've got Starch Genes and Class Freak to increase my mutations power. Now, in this one, I can swap out Serendipity and Ricochet for Grim Reaper's Sprint and Bloodied Mess, just to give me that extra bit of DPS, especially if I'm using VATs, and especially if I'm using, like, my Railway Rifle is like my secondary weapon on this type of build, because if I come up against a big enemy, I need something that's going to do more damage in a kind of quicker way. So this helps against those enemies, especially if I'm using a silenced weapon like my Fixer, for example. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the build. It's about optimizing DPS versus survivability, and it's just picking the right perks for the right situation. In terms of legendary perks, we have Legendary Perception. It's not quite maxed out yet. I'll need to fiddle around with that in the near future to get my stats where they need to be. We've got Flung Fireworks because I am using ranged weapons, so that's going to cause more explosions, more damage. Legendary Intelligence, just because I need more stat points. We have Taken One for the team. Quite often I'm being attacked by enemies, so that extra 40% damage is pretty good. We have ammo factory on here for more ammunition, and then legendary strength for strength points. I'm probably going to move this one out for something else. I'm really not entirely certain what I want to get in its place, but it will be something that I will replace in the near future. But either way, that is the build. So, since this is basically a redoing of the original video, I will go into how the Tesla rifle works for anyone that doesn't know and hasn't seen that video already. Essentially, Tesla rifles are a weapon that when you fire from the gun, you get an arcing electric bolt that then travels to nearby enemies. Now, it's got three modes of fire. You've got normal, which is just shot by shot. You have automatic, which is by far the best, and shotgun, which I think is absolute garbage. This gun thrives at killing multiple enemies, and the best way to use it is to either fire directly into the enemies for the max damage output, or you can fire it into walls, ceilings, all manner of things in order to hit enemies you can't even see and deal with them that way. And because it's not like explosive damage where it doesn't damage yourself, it won't arc back onto you, you can pretty much just spam shots into enemies. You can get a higher elevation to them and then just take them out with the greatest amount of ease. Now, in terms of ammo, it can be a little bit expensive, but it can also be cheap as hell. If you watch my video involving farming copper and whatnot, you can find it's very easy to find ammo for it. Now, as you can see, we have one of the legendary treasure hunters. Kills them with absolute no problem. This thing mows down legendaries, bigger enemies with the greatest of ease, and I have a multitude of different rifles for different scenarios. So, for example, this one I'm using right now is just my pure DPS one, which is bloodied. But if you see, we can swap to my vampire one, and the amount of health I regenerate is significantly better. Like, the fire rate in this thing is crazy. So in a scenario where I am up against a lot of enemies, I can just spam this and get my health back with the greatest of ease. On top of that, the weapon itself doesn't do too bad damage when it comes to just your general fire. So even without like boosted damage from bloodied, it's just absolutely fantastic. Then you have other things like my quad one. So quad is really good for sustained fire, and we'll move on to me using that in a second. So, quadruple ammo capacity. Now, the reason why this is a particularly good effect on this weapon in particular, opposed to other weapons where it's still quite a good effect, is the fact that you are capable of maintaining your sustained fire for longer. And what this is going to enable you to do is basically deal a lot more DPS in a shorter amount of time. Enemies in general aren't going to all die in the first clip, but with this, as you can see, I can just casually spam like a larger group of them very quickly. And then if any other hordes of them show up, I've still got ammo to spare. And then it means I'm not reloading as often, which is your downtime and when you're most likely to get killed and or hit. So yeah, quad is a very good effect to get in this. I would recommend the faster fire rate one and the faster reload speed one for definite. But that is a god roll and it's going to be difficult for you to get one of those for definite. So that's today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So this build, it's pretty much for farming and grinding XP. It is not for taking out bosses. It's not for doing big kind of things. Don't get me wrong, it can be used really well during a colossal problem in order to rack up a load of Wendigo kills, and during what's she called? The Scorched Beast Queen. Whenever she drops enemies, you can use it to basically mop them up. But in terms of damage to the bosses themselves, it's not particularly the best. Not going to get you very far in terms of that, but it will work against those enemies to get that hit in at least. I tend to recommend it for during events like Radiation Rumble or, well, pretty much anything that's just got a lot of enemies in a very close quarters environment. So yeah, enjoy, and hopefully you can get some good stuff with it. But yeah, with that, we'll catch you next time in the Wasteland.